I've been following this news story for the past few years because I find it ridiculous, hilarious, insane. It's a pretty crazy one, especially with the guy who's involved in all the past craziness that he has pulled. I spoke to somebody who was involved with this guy in the past, and for the first time ever, I'm going to read some of those messages because it really kind of predicted certain things and ties into the story extremely well. But we've covered this in a few videos in the past. Nintendo sues the best ROM site in the universe, ROM universe, right? So they did just win. Nintendo won $2.1 million judgment against Matthew Storman. This guy is nuts, man. So let's go through this article real quick, and I'm going to share some of the stuff that I have here. So California federal court ruled that the man, Los Angeles resident, uploaded and distributed pirate Nintendo games. So he screwed up big time because this fool, my God, he was trying to raise funds for a legal fund. Heard about the lawsuit, want to help defend ROM Universe, and your rights, please consider donating. So he was asking money on his website and through his Discord, through just trying to get money from his followers to support this lawsuit. Did he get any money? I don't know. I don't know if anybody was crazy enough to give this guy money to support him being sued by Nintendo, because he really screwed up with this, right? So he tried to fight this, and he just represented himself. So pretty nuts. Like, if he got money, I guess it was just for whatever reason, right? So this was back in 2019 that this lawsuit went down. He didn't like pull the website. He was just like, screw Nintendo. He let that stuff ride for a while, adding new Nintendo Switch. It wasn't just NES and Super Nintendo games. You gotta understand what this guy was doing. It wasn't just like really old school stuff. It was new releases before they release, on release, that kind of thing. That really got some attention toward him, I think. But he tried fighting this, as it states down here. The site operator, Matthew Storman, clearly disagreed with the allegations that he was profiting from the copyright infringements. He was selling paid premium accounts. It was like $30 a year, something like that. I don't know. It was kind of ridiculous. Like, who's going to pay a ROM website? Holy crap. Like, there's plenty of places that you could go that aren't charging you. You know what I mean? But he decided to defend himself. In his view, the site wasn't breaking any laws, and he asked the court to dismiss it. He was saying that he was just facilitating, this website, and it was people uploading shit. Like, he wasn't doing anything wrong. But they did find, no, he was uploading content to the site. So Nintendo, they were asking a lot of money. As you see here, $15 million, freaking nuts for everything he was doing. It says that he continued in court without a lawyer, disagreed. He denied that ROM Universe offered for download distributed pirated ROMs. Storman also argued that he never uploaded any ROMs. And then it states that the court sided with him. According to the court, Nintendo provided sufficient evidence to show that Storman is liable for direct, contributory, and vicarious copyright infringements, including trademark. There was like a whole thing with the images he was using, the box arts and stuff like that. Nintendo was trying to get him on all of that. Furthermore, defendant testified at his disposition that his website indicated that copies of copyrighted games were available on the website. Storman also profited from infringements of users by charging for premium access. The site generated between $30,000 to $36,000 in revenue, which was his main source of income at the time. This is nuts, right? Judge Marshall believes that $35,000 statutory damage for each of the 49 copyrighted works is sufficient. This adds up to 1.7, substantially lower than the $90,000 that was requested by Nintendo. The court finds $35,000 damages for each infringement would compensate for lost revenue. Nintendo was saying it was like $20 to $60 per game that they were owed, right? Just crazy with all this stuff. Yeah, a lot of it was older stuff, but like I said earlier, there was a lot of that Nintendo Switch stuff going on here. So they do have like everything listed here. But essentially, he was trying to fight this by saying he wasn't uploading content. It was him just having a website and people loading stuff up to it for download, which he was asked to provide a bunch of like documentation, evidence, and it seems like he willfully like hid things or destroyed things. I think we've covered that before. And there's other articles that talks about that, like on Torrent Freak, with everything that he was doing here. But it fell through. Like, they found the evidence that yes, there was at some point, I believe he did admit that he uploaded content. So he was being held liable here for what he was doing. The original, I'll put a link in the description to the original court documents for the lawsuit, which I find pretty interesting. But with this crazy dude, man, no matter what you think with Nintendo, Nintendo's been pretty harsh with these things. I mean, sometimes it seems like it's just, they have to flex that intellectual property rights by going after certain things, but some things it just seems like they go a little crazy with it, especially when you see other companies who don't go as crazy and they kind of embrace certain things like fan made like games and fan art, stuff like that. But Nintendo's really a stickler for this kind of stuff. So a long while back, I did talk to somebody who was connected with this guy, and I have the email. I'm not going to bring, because I don't want their identity to be shown. And I edited a few things in this like transcript of the dialogue, just a couple like key phrasings, just so I don't really put this person's identity out there. But this person, they reached out to me a few years ago when I first talked about this. This was from way back on my first video. It was in 2019, late 2019. The very first one. So it was like September, October of 2019. So this person states, I saw you mention his various websites and his business names. Now, he did have a bunch of different business names, right? He had Namrots and a bunch of other stuff when I dug into this guy. So they state that he was in a few years back, he was in a divorce proceeding, right? And he gave like all of his business assets to his dad. And he was using these different business names, Namrots, these corporations, right? And then this person goes on to state, it's been quite some time since they looked at the status of his ownerships, this person was actually surprised to see that he still had anything in his name. So they state, Matthew Storman filed for bankruptcy earlier in 2019. You could look that up on Pacer, which I did look it up. It was true. So I start to wonder with this tactic this guy has, when he starts getting into things, filing bankruptcy, shifting assets around, is that something he's hoping to do to try to get out of this judgment from Nintendo? Is he going to be one of those people that are just judgment free? You can't really enforce a judgment on him. I mean, I've heard of plenty of people getting around these things where you don't have bank accounts, you don't have assets that can be gone after. And that's what I wonder with this. I know a lot of this is really just personal stuff that this guy has gone through, but this letter that I received from this person, it really seemed interesting. He was granted this bankruptcy, according to this person, due to him claiming that he just had no income, zero income. And during this period of time with this Nintendo lawsuit, he's been collecting welfare, food stamps, stuff like that. And I wonder if that's just an opinion, if that's just a front and he has other stuff hidden out there to try to evade this kind of thing. Because he was very cocky during this whole thing, still having the website up, still putting up new Nintendo Switch games. He was freaking nuts, dude. So this person goes on to claim that he had told somebody that they know that he was moving money out of the country a few years back, and that he just didn't cooperate with Discovery during his divorce proceedings, just like with this, where he was hiding stuff and kind of destroying evidence in a sense. At least that's the way it seemed here. And nobody was able to prove anything. He just hid everything. And like there was forensic accountants hired. Like this is just like some big shit. This could be a movie one day. I mean, would it be that interesting of a movie? I don't know. Could they fancify everything. Could be pretty crazy, man. Like Wolf of Wall Street type of stuff with Nintendo ROM website operators. It's freaking nuts. So like they say, like he has like this issue where he has a hard time trying to raise funds for things with using his name, because a lot of that could be like grabbed since he's being sued as an individual with a lot of things. And this person just goes on to state that he's not in a position or willing to negotiate with Nintendo. Remember, this is a few years ago, and he thinks that this is all their opinion, that he thinks he will hide and lie and has nothing to lose, and that he has represented himself in plenty of court proceedings, that there's been a lot of court cases he's been involved with, and he just dips out from paying a lawyer and winds up just representing himself, like hires a lawyer, then doesn't pay them, then he represents himself, or he just represents himself altogether, thinking he's going to get through this stuff, and then it has never worked out for him. it's pretty crazy to hear all this stuff. This person leaves the message pretty much saying that he's a weirdo, essentially that he doesn't apply human logic and that he's just a weirdo. Not my words, this person's words. But I found that stuff interesting because going through this lawsuit and how it ended and having this little bit of information, a lot of it's, opinion. Some of it seems fact-based with what I could fact-check, but a lot of opinion here. But it really does kind of encompass the way I've seen this guy represent himself, the just straight-up cockiness, the craziness. Like, you can't operate a website posting Nintendo Switch ROMs and then like think it's going to go unnoticed. Like it's something that it's very hard to do, especially you're a person in the United States. Like Nintendo's a very litigious company. They're going to go after you. And if you're in a place that they can easily go after you, they're going to go after you. You know what I mean? There's been plenty of sites that it's just like Nintendo cease and desist. Okay, we're going to stop hosting Nintendo stuff. And then they do it. This guy continued doing so. And he got himself in this pickle where he's at now, owing Nintendo $2.1 million. But like I said, this kind of something that may never go paid. With his past history and some of the things that have been claimed against him, hiding income, having multiple business names, shifting assets around to other people. That's why I said this could be like some big Hollywood movie, ROM, website, Nintendo thing. Could be a Netflix exclusive. I don't know, but I do find this stuff interesting. And I just wanted to finish up this saga with this and referring back to those emails that I received, which, up in the air on if it's really like that important stuff. Like I said, a lot of it was personal, but a lot of it does kind of spell a picture of this guy and the way he conducts himself. So I thought it was pretty crazy. So let me know what you guys think down below. Really do appreciate it. And with that said, big ass thumb button in your face, and I will catch you guys next time. Peace out, bye-bye, and boom.